Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Freestyle Friday, where it's just me, you, and the mic. Guys, I'm really excited about this episode. I feel like I say that on every single episode now, but honestly, I just get excited for all these episodes, so I'm just going to have to deal with it, man. I'm excited for today's episode. We're going to talk about getting clarity for your future. And this is something that, don't turn this off, by the way, just because I said that, because a lot of people would hear that and go, oh, whatever, not a big deal. But this is a big deal, and probably one of the biggest deals, because most people just don't do it. And there's a good reason why it should be done. So before we get into that really quickly, if you want to learn how I build and maintain some of the relationships with the people that I have here on the show, then you're definitely going to want to check out a free live training that I do every single week, and that you can find more on that over at travischappell.com/explode to sign up for that. It will be 100% free, and it will be totally valuable, and we're going to teach a lot of just behind the scenes secret strategies for connecting and networking with people that you really want to connect and network with. So definitely check that out, travischappell.com/explode. Now, clarity is probably one of the most underrated exercises that anyone can do. And I think that people don't do it often enough. So even if you agree with me on that, even if you're like, oh yeah, totally, I get it, I understand. When was the last time that you did it? Ask yourself, seriously, when was the last time you sat down, looked at all your goals, and made sure you were on track to still hit them? And made sure that they were even the goals that you still want? I think this is something that should be done on a weekly basis, like every Sunday, every Monday, like one day a week, where you take a day and you go, hey, you recalibrate, figure out, am I on track to hit my goals? And are these the goals that I even still want to hit? You want to know what the worst possible scenario is? The worst possible scenario is, let's say you're going on a hike, and you start on this hike, you get all your water, your food, you've been training for a few weeks, and you start on this hike on this big mountain. You start hiking up this mountain, you do the work, and it's painful, but you push through, and you get that feeling when you're finally close to the top. You get that second wind, because it's like, oh man, I'm about to accomplish a goal, I'm about to accomplish a dream of mine, and you get to the very top, and you should feel this feeling of like wonderment and amazement and excitement, but all you can feel is regret, because you look over and you realize that you're at the top of the wrong mountain. You look over at the top of another mountain and go, man, I should be on the top of that mountain. That was the one that I actually wanted to climb. That's the one that I wanted to get up. And it's the same exact thing with your goals for your life and your business. Too many people are chasing after something that other people have told them that's important, and they haven't even thought that it's important to them. So they do all the work. They put in the years of hard work and effort and sacrifice, and they finally get to the top of the mountain and they realize, wow, this is the wrong mountain. I don't care about this. And so that's why having clarity is so important, because again, it's not just about recalibrating to figure out if you're on track to hit your goals. It's about asking yourself, are these goals that are important to me? And don't use this, by the way, like don't be one of those people that uses this as an excuse to cop out, like use it as an excuse to give up and quit on your dreams and goals, because you're like, oh, I just don't want it anymore. When really it's probably just because you haven't made enough progress and you realize it's going to take more work to get there than you thought it was going to. So don't use it as an excuse or a crutch, but I am saying, like, think about it and ask yourself that question honestly, and be bold enough to answer it honestly. So here's just a couple of ways to use clarity in your life. So just every once in a while, take the time, sit down, and ask yourself 4 questions here, or four categories. So write these 4 categories down on a piece of paper. The first thing is the current status, the truth about where you are. Don't butter yourself up here. Self-awareness is one of the most important aspects in I think life, really. Like self-awareness, the ability to look at yourself and ask if you are where you want to be, and if you're not, where are you? Now, this is not a time to tear yourself down, because I think a lot of people use this as a tear yourself down activity, where they just start, bashing themselves for not being where they want to be. And I don't think that that's a profitable use of your time either. It's just the current status. It's the truth. Where am I right now? In whatever it is, like in my fitness, in my health, in my finances, in my goals, like where am I currently on this, path? Then number 2, you're going to write down your 1-year goals. So number 2 is your 1-year goals. And I think that it's important to make sure that when you set your 1-year goals, that they're not goals that you're looking forward to, but set your 1-year goals in terms of you looking back on the next year. So don't ask yourself, hey, right now it's, July of 2019. Do I want to be at this point in my life in July of 2020? Like, don't do that. I think put yourself in the mental space of July of 2020. Put yourself in the mental space, in the physical, emotional state of, I'm really happy that I've fulfilled all my goals and my dreams this year. I'm really fulfilled that I met my purpose this year. I'm really like happy that everything went according to the way that I had it set up. And like think about, put yourself in that emotional state, and now ask yourself, what needs to happen? What will have needed to happen over the course of the previous year in order for you to be able to feel like that, and write out your goals that way. And I think that it's a much better way of just writing out some random goals, because it'll give you a little bit better perspective on how to write those goals clearly. And again, this could be for anything: health, fitness, career, finance, business, whatever it is, relationships, even, marriage, your relationship with your kids, whatever it is. Write down those goals as a year from now, looking backwards. Then number 3, write down why these goals are important. Halfway through the year, 6 months later, you set good goals, you're on track to hit them, and you hit a snag. You hit a bump in the road. You hit an obstacle, a wall that you weren't expecting, that you can't break through. When you go through those times, these are the reasons that you're going to keep pushing. These are the reasons that you're going to break through that wall. These are the reasons that are going to get you out of bed in the morning and keep you on track to hitting the goals and the targets that you set for yourself. Your why is going to be the most important part of this whole process. If you have a strong enough why, then you'll have a strong enough, you'll always find the how. If your why is strong enough, you'll find out the how. You'll figure out how to make it happen if your why is strong enough. So make sure that after you write down those goals, look back and go, okay, so now why are these goals important to me? And ask yourself that question at least 3 or 4 times. So don't just say, why is it important to me that I make money? It's just like, well, I like stuff. Okay, that's not a real why. Ask yourself, why do you like stuff? Well, because it makes me feel good. Okay, why do you want to feel good? Oh, because when I grew up, I didn't feel good a lot. Okay, why was that? Ask yourself that question 4 or 5 times. Really 7 times is ideal, and get down to the real reason why you want something to be accomplished. And your why should be something that starts getting you a little bit emotional, that starts making you feel a certain type of a way. And if those whys are not doing that, then they're not going to be big enough for you to push past the times when it gets hard and difficult to keep doing what you're wanting to do. So make sure to write the current status, the truth about where you are. Then write your 1-year goals as if it's a year from now and you're looking backwards on the previous year. And then write down why each of those goals are important for you to accomplish. And then lastly, write down the capabilities that you need in order to achieve those goals. So when you're writing out goals for yourself, it's important to understand and be self-aware enough to realize that maybe you are not the person at this juncture in life that's capable of reaching some of those goals. Now, it does not mean that you will never be that person. And that's precisely why I think it's important to write it down. Because you sometimes need to make the journey to become the person that's able to achieve those goals. So you sitting here right now today, if you're running a business that has never broken the 6-figure mark, if you're a solopreneur and you've never broken 6 figures, okay, right now it would be impossible for you to run a profitable $1 billion company. It just would be impossible. You don't know what it takes. You're not that person, okay? But it does not mean that you cannot become that person. That's the problem, is some people just make these goals that are just astronomically higher than what's possible for them to achieve in that period of time, because they're not the person that's capable of achieving those things. It doesn't mean that they will never be that person. And it actually is a lot of good news, because you can do things to improve yourself to become the person that's capable of doing that. So just understand your current state, understand where you're going, and then ask yourself, what capabilities do I need to achieve those? So if you're running a 6-figure business, and you're like, I for sure want to be a billionaire one day, then look at that goal and then set the timeline for that, and then look at the capabilities that you'll need in the meantime in order to reach that goal. Because look, if somebody's done it, you can do it. It's not rocket science. You can figure it out. If somebody has done it, you can do it. You just really need to understand and get clear on the capabilities that you are going to need to have in order to be able to become the person that can achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. So I hope that makes sense. Number one, write down your current status. Number two, write down your 1 year goals looking backwards. Number three, write down why those goals are important. And number four, write down the capabilities that you need to achieve those goals. And then once you do that, do the same thing, but write down your 5 and 10 year goals. And then maybe depending on where you're at in life, your 20, 40, 60 year goals. Like write down, just have some fun with this, dream about the future, and figure out, am I on the road to achieve what I want to achieve? Because sometimes you'll find if you start looking at like those 10-year goals and like put yourself in the position looking back, you'll realize that you're doing something right now because it makes sense right now, but it actually isn't leading you to where you want to be in 10 years from now. So you better change it soon, or else it's not going to put you on that path. Like for instance, when I started podcasting, I knew that it was a step backwards, meaning that I wasn't making as much money when I first started podcasting as I was in sales, in door-to-door sales. But I knew looking a decade in the future that I wanted to be a 7-figure podcaster. And if I didn't start on that trajectory at that moment, that I was probably just going to keep doing what I was doing in sales, even though that it made more sense in the meantime, meaning like right now I make more money. Right now I have a flexible schedule. Right now I don't have to use my free time to like record podcast episodes. Right now it makes more sense for me to not do this. But 10 years from now, looking backwards, I don't want to be doing what I'm doing anymore. I want to be doing something else. So I better start on that trajectory, or else like the ship's not going to end up at the destination. Like I'm going to be like, I'm trying to go to England and my ship's going to end up somewhere, in Zimbabwe, because I never set the direction for where I actually wanted to end up. So make sure that you're honest with yourself and that you set some goals and understand why those goals are important to you. And then become the person that's capable of achieving those goals. Take some action and move toward them. And then, like I said, it's important to do this, really often. The more clarity that you have in your life, I think there's a direct correlation to the amount of fulfillment and happiness that you have in life, depending on how much clarity that you have. Because you don't want to end, especially at the end of your life. The worst, my worst fear is getting to the end of my life and realizing I climbed the wrong mountain, because now there's no time to fix it. So make sure that you're climbing the right mountain. Get some clarity. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope to catch you guys next time. Remember to screenshot this episode, upload it to your Instagram story, tag me at Travis Chappell, and then check out everything that we're doing over on YouTube. You'll see a lot of really awesome interviews with some amazing guests over there, and you'll actually be able to see them in person and get some of that other aspect to this content. So that's at travischappell.com/YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.